this is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.
Does the president stand fully behind that officer, that agent? Does the president believe his actions were justified?
Absolutely. And I think the more evidence that comes out shows the officer was justified, and President Trump was right about this all along. And who was wrong? The Democrat Party and the mainstream media, who despicably have been lying about this officer and about this case from the very beginning. And they have had to change their story and their narrative.
You're listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson.
Good Tuesday morning. Nice to have you with us on the 47 Morning Update, and we've got two big stories for you. First up, Donald Trump, we're being told, is keeping the Iran airstrikes on the table. White House saying the president has a lot of options, but he is going to crack down on the country that is now going after and killing innocent people in the streets. What's the latest? We have it all for you in just a moment. Also, President Donald Trump is pledging to uncover leftist groups that are countering ICE agents. We're seeing it happen all over the country. And the anti-ICE mobs, well, they're anything but organic. So who is financing them? That coming up as well. But first, I want to tell you about an amazing opportunity right now that I'm involved in, and I cannot wait for you to take advantage of it. I want you to take some incredible courses at Hillsdale College for free. You may not know this, but Hillsdale College has been influencing conservatives like myself for decades. They had a huge impact on Charlie Kirk's life. And even as memorial service, they talked about how Charlie took class after class after class at Hillsdale College. Hillsdale College is now offering for you, the listeners of this show, more than 40 free, I want to say that again, free online courses. That's right, more than 40 free online courses. You can learn about the works of C.S. Lewis, the stories in the book of Genesis, the meaning of the U.S. Constitution, the rise and fall of the Roman Republic, or the history of the ancient Christian church, all with Hillsdale College's free online courses. Right now, I'm personally taking the Constitution 101. In this course, you're going to explore the design and the purpose of the Constitution, the challenges it faced during the Civil War, and how it has been undermined for more than a century by radical progressives and liberals. This 12-lecture course is self-paced. It's another reason why I love it. So start whenever and wherever. In our country, we need more Americans like you and I that understand the Constitution and can defend the freedom of the American people against the left and their increasing encroachments on our God-given rights. So start your classes today for free. Start your free Constitution 101 course right now. How do you do it? Go to hillsdale.edu/morning update to enroll, and it's no cost. It's easy to get started. You got to use the special website, hillsdale.edu/morning update. Enroll for free. hillsdale.edu/morning update. It's the 47 Morning Update, and it starts right now.
Story number one.
U.S. President Donald Trump, we are now being told, is considering airstrikes on Iran to stop a crackdown on the protesters, the White House has confirmed on Monday, adding that people were being killed in the streets. A channel for diplomacy, they also made clear, is still open, with Iran taking, quote, a far different tone in private discussions with President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and the press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, confirming that, saying, quote, one thing President Trump is very good at is always keeping all of his options on the table. And airstrikes would be one of the many options that are on the table for the commander-in-chief. Leavitt added that diplomacy is always the first option for this president, saying, quote, what you're hearing publicly from the Iranian regime is quite different from what the message the administration is receiving privately. And I think the president has an interest in exploring those messages. Iran's foreign ministry said earlier on Monday that a channel of communication was open between its top diplomat and Trump's special envoy, despite a lack of diplomatic relations. Trump said on Sunday that the U.S. military was in fact considering a very strong option against Iran, saying it looks like Tehran had crossed his previously stated red line of protesters being killed. Here's more of what the president had to say in his last interview. Take a listen.
Are you following the protesting that is taking place all over the country of Iran
Yeah,
now?
I'm following it very
And
closely.
have you read that the Ayatollah Ali Khamenei has a plan B to go to Russia?
Or someplace, yeah. He's looking to go someplace.
Do you believe that
It's getting very
Iran,
bad.
you think the country is on the verge of collapsing?
Well, it could be. I mean, what they've done is in the past, they've started shooting the hell out of people, and all of a sudden people without any weapons whatsoever are standing there and you have machine guns gunning them down, or they take them to prisons and then hang them and kill them. So they played rough, and I said, if they do that, we're going to hit them very hard. Well, we're going to hit them hard. We're ready to do it. If they do that, we're going to hit them hard. And so far, for the most part, there's been some of it, but for the most part, they haven't. There have been people killed. Some of them, the crowds are so big that some of them have had really, were stomped on. Literally, it was terrible. The crowds are just, they're massive. The enthusiasm to overturn that regime is incredible. But there's been people killed, but it's more from death by, it's literally stomping. It's people running in a certain direction. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens over there. They know, though, that it's a stampede, is, I guess, the best word. They have like a stampede. You talk about stampede for cattle. But the people are stampeding, and you're losing a lot of people with the stampedes. There's so many people protesting. Nobody's ever seen anything like what's happening right now. But I have put Iran on notice that if they start shooting at them, these people are totally unarmed people. And they love their country. They want something to happen. Look at their country. They've gone back 150 years. But I've told them that if they do anything bad to these people, we're going to hit them very hard.
We're going to hit them very hard. The president clearly sticking with that line. As Trump said, the U.S. military is considering those very strong options. And the Iran leaders have reached out for a meeting, but we may have to act before a meeting, the president also went on to say. Rights groups have also reported a growing death toll, with information continuing to trickle out of Iran despite a days-long internet and phone shutdown. Caroline Leavitt, White House press secretary, appeared to confirm there have been a significant increase in deaths, saying, quote, he certainly doesn't want to see people being killed in the streets of Tehran. And unfortunately, that's something we're seeing right now. One thing is for sure, the president of the United States of America is going to hold Iran accountable for what's happening right now on the ground, keeping all options on the table.
Now story number 2.
Which brings us to another important story. President Donald Trump has come out and pledged to uncover the leftist groups that are countering ICE all over the country. President Trump said that he believes the woman that was fatally shot by a U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement officer in Minneapolis last week may have been a professional agitator, and indicated that the government will uncover the funding sources behind such anti-law enforcement agitation nationwide. Here's the president in his own words.
The woman and her friend were highly disrespectful of law enforcement. You saw that. They were harassing, they were following for days and for hours. And I think, frankly, they're professional agitators. And I'd like to find out, and we are going to find out who's paying for it, with their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends were doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement is outrageous.
The president added that he would like to find out, and we're going to find out, who's paying for it with their brand new signs and all the different things. But these are professional agitators, and law enforcement should not be in a position where they have to put up with this stuff. What that woman and what her friend and what their other friends are doing to law enforcement, not just ICE, law enforcement is outrageous. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security retweeting a post in which Republican Representative Lance Gooden of Texas asserted that the anti-ICE protesters are actually all just being paid for, saying, quote, the anti-ICE mobs are anything but organic. Dark money is bankrolling these far-left groups like ICE Watch and lighting the fuse. Americans deserve to know who's cutting the checks, the lawmaker said in his post. A person weaponizing their vehicle against law enforcement is unacceptable, and we're witnessing it happen all over the country. Fox News having even more on this, and here's what they said.
Right now, DHS is deploying hundreds of more federal agents to Minnesota as violent anti-ICE protests continue to rise in the state.
Matt Finn joins us live in Minneapolis with the details. Hey, Matt.
Hi, Ainsley. DHS sources tell us up to 1,000 additional federal officers could surge Minneapolis here. That's on top of the already 2,000 agents on the ground. And this comes as DHS Secretary Kristi Noem is defending her assessment of the Renee Good shooting.
If you look at what the definition of domestic terrorism is, it completely fits the situation on the ground. This individual, as you saw in the video that we released just 48 hours after this incident, showed that this officer was hit by her vehicle. She weaponized it, and he defended his life and those colleagues around him and the public.
But the Democratic mayor of Minneapolis, Jacob Frey, disagrees and is slamming Secretary Noem.
It sounds like she doesn't believe a single word that she is saying right now. Here's the thing. She's calling Minneapolis like this dystopian hellhole. You know how many shootings we've had so far this year? 2. And one of them was ICE. 2 shootings in a large city so far this entire year, and one of them is ICE. This is a safe city. ICE and Kristi Noem and everything they're doing is making it far less safe.
And there's new video leading up to the moments of Renee Good's shooting death by an ICE agent on Wednesday. The video appears to show Good's SUV partially blocking the street, honking her horn, and apparently dancing in the driver's seat. Border Patrol tells us it's dangerous for agents to be blocked in by a car because there are so many anti-ICE agitators who quickly surround them. A new video from last night apparently shows federal agents using crowd control tactics, firing tear gas and pepper balls at protesters outside the federal building where ICE detainees are being held. An independent photographer who was there says protesters tried to stop traffic in and out of the federal facility, and they were met with force. Now, this is happening in a city where the mayor has told ICE to get the F out, and highly organized anti-ICE activists are patrolling the neighborhoods. We asked Border Patrol during a ride-along if any of this is going to deter them.
Absolutely not. We're out here to do a job, and we're not going to stop until it's done. If a mayor wants to say something that he's not for us, if anybody wants to say that they're not for us, that is not going to stop what we're doing in Minneapolis or anywhere across the country.
And that was during a ride-along with Border Patrol. I have to say, driving around the city, as soon as they get out of their cars, they are met with people who have those ear-piercing whistles, people, resisting, trying to surround the cars. There is really a highly organized anti-ICE, anti-Border Patrol network here on the ground in the Twin Cities.
It's clear the President of the United States of America wants to find out exactly who is weaponizing these individuals to go after ICE agents. And you can see it there as ICE put out saying these individuals are impeding law enforcement and they're weaponizing their vehicles against ICE. The officer in this shooting was dutifully acted in self-defense. That is what the DHS Assistant Secretary for Public Affairs, Tricia McLaughlin, said on X. One thing's for sure, the president now has made it clear. We're going to find out exactly who's paying these individuals and what group is behind them.
Thank you for listening to the 47 Morning Update with Ben Ferguson. Please make sure you hit subscribe wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. And for more in-depth news, also subscribe to the Ben Ferguson Podcast, and we will see you back here tomorrow.
This is an iHeart podcast. Guaranteed human.